Hello, 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 hello. Wicked Whisker Outdoors, Michael, Palmetto, Palomino. Hello, guys. I hope everybody's doing good. Oh, 4 days of rain. Already over flood stage. Ooh, that don't sound good. That don't sound good at all. Yeah, we're going to have Miss Ann White in the house with us tonight, in the cabin with us. Hello, Jonathan, Jason. Share it up, guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. We'll be getting this show started here in just a little bit. There's Betty Jean. Hello, Betty Jean. Reeling and chilling. Mr. Dockery. Team Keep Reeling. Michael. Oh, there's Mr. Justin Fish and Fetish. Well, guys, we're going to start this show out by saying, hello, Miss Ann.
Hello.
Let's start this show out by saying God bless America. God bless each and every one of you and your families. I hope y'all staying safe and virus free. There's a avid fisherman. We got all kind of good people in here. Trophy hunter. The crowd is busy building. There's Ozark. And I want to talk a little bit about this post I seen today on Facebook. This Rick Jenkins. I know some of y'all on here don't do the Facebook stuff. Some of you do. There's Maurice. There's a guy on here, Rick Jenkins. He hit a log with his boat and actually sunk it with all kind of new equipment and everything on it, and it's in the bottom of the lake. He's pretty much lost everything. If you don't mind, look him up on Facebook. If you can donate any little thing to try to help get the guy back on the water fishing. I know the boat's going to be on him, but as far as rods, reels, tackle, line, whatever that you feel that you can help the guy with, please let's help a fellow fisherman out. That's that's the only thing that we can do. And I notice there's Hagen grubs, muskrat. I know that the catfish community really sticks up for each other. We see a man down, we try to help, or a lady down. But with that being said, how's everything going in your world, Miss Ann?
It's good.
Good. Thank you for coming in the show, and I know we're going to enjoy it tonight.
Well, thank you for having me on. I want to say one of the things that really struck me in Rick's post. He talked about how fast his boat went down and how lucky he was to make it to shore. And I think that's a good lesson for a lot of us, is wear those life jackets, wear those kill switches. Safety is absolutely number one. We've lost too many people in our catfish community due to unpreventable accidents. And so let's just make sure everybody's doing what they can to stop those preventable ones as well. It's important. It's hard. We lost a boat one time. We had a boat go down on the water, and it's scary. It's one of the scariest things that happens.
I'm sure it is. I ride in a pontoon, so the likelihood of actually sinking one is pretty low. But with that being said, you can still be thrown out of the boat. You still can come to a dead halt if you run up on shallow water too fast. And from 30, 40 mile an hour to nothing hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It bounces you off everything in the boat. You can eat a dadgun steering wheel or whatever. So guys, use what safety devices that are designed to be on the water as it's supposed to be used. We got Junior Proctor. We got Catfish Weekly. We got Wampus Cat. Wampus Cat's out on the water right now. His son's 16. Bought him a truck, and just bought him a boat. He's spending his money wisely. So they out there trying to put a few fish in the boat, and hopefully he'll send us a picture, and we'll show you a picture. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ann, and what got you started into fishing.
Well, I I've been fishing my whole life. Used to take a can of corn and my mom's pole across the road. We had a little farm pond, and I'd go over and catch bluegill and have fun with it. Be 100% honest with you, I never knew that you could target fish specifically until I started fishing with my husband. I always thought you just took whatever bait you had and you went to the water and you caught whatever fish decided to eat that bait. It wasn't until I started fishing with Eddie that I learned you can use specific equipment and specific bait and specific techniques and actually catch the fish. I won't ever forget the first time he took me out and he's like, "Well, we're going to go catch catfish." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know you're going to catch catfish? Like, what if you catch it just hadn't ever occurred to me that you could do that." So he's taught me a lot. I love fishing. I love being on the water. I've been an active outdoorsman. I did a lot of whitewater rafting, a lot of kayaking, a lot of fishing. Just, I feel best when I'm on the water. And so fishing has been a natural extension of that. I go out, and to me, there's absolutely no better feeling in the world than watching the water, watching a pole, and seeing what you're going to catch. So that's how I got into fishing. Just wanting to be outside, wanting to be at the water, I guess.
So it's always been a calling. That water's always called you out, whether it's rafting, swimming, or fishing.
Absolutely.
Yes. Good. So with that being said, I'm sure with Eddie that once you realize you can target specific fish, then you start targeting the bigger fish.
Yes. We used to fish for everything. Bass, catfish, walleye. We've got quite a wide variety. We're up here in Montana. Most people that know us know that we're geographically challenged for a lot of the real good big sky country. One of the things I hear most often is that Montana is known for trout fishing. And that's true in the western part of the state. We live in the eastern part of the state. On the eastern side, we've got warm water fishing, which means we have pike, muskie, largemouth and smallmouth bass, crappie, bluegill, catfish, paddlefish, pretty much you name it, we've got it. So we did a lot of different types of fishing. Fishing is something Eddie's done his whole life, and that was something we did with the kids. We'd go out camping, we'd go fishing. We just fished for whatever was in the body of water that was there. And then he got me on my first catfish. And I was actually the one that fell in love with catfishing first and really got into it. Very first catfish I got was about a 9-pound channel cat. It was unbelievable. The fight, the splashing, the pull on the line, it had me hooked, absolutely hooked from the beginning. And so I was the one that kind of steered us more towards the catfishing. We entered our first tournament here in Montana and did terrible. It was one of those situations where if it could go wrong, it did. We had a new boat. The river we run on is pretty rocky in our area and tends to be real shallow. Unbeknownst to us, everybody that runs this stretch of river runs jet boats. Well, we bought our first boat, not knowing a whole lot about it, and bought a prop. So we showed up at our first catfish tournament where 49 other teams had jet boats, and we showed up with our prop. Uh-oh. It didn't work. There was, well, it would have if there hadn't been some engine troubles, and we never made it further upriver than just across from where we put in at and fished there all day. And we weighed in one fish, and that was good. But that was what got us hooked in the tournaments. We knew we had a host of problems to overcome, but we knew how to fish. So we wanted to come back and do more tournaments and kind of prove it to ourselves that not everything was all bad luck.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't let one bad apple ruin the whole batch. You got to keep digging, because if you give up on that first one, you never look back and you never go back.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you stuck it out, and I'm glad you're back in it. And so what tournament trails do y'all usually fish in?
Well, being geographically challenged, we do our own tournament trail up here in Montana. We run a series of 4 tournaments here. We're not fishing in any of them this year. We're focusing on just providing a good trail for our anglers. We have fished them in the past, but as the tournaments have gotten bigger, we've gotten more competitors. We want to step back and just really focus on providing a good experience for everyone. We're real big fans of the Cat Masters. We fished Texoma in January. We've been at Possum Kingdom for, I think this year will be Eddie's 4th year down there. So we really like Cat Masters. We'll be at MRM again this year. We try and fish some of the bigger national tournaments when we can, and when finances allow and schedule allows for it. So we don't have a whole lot of options up here. We only have channel cats here in Montana. It's about a 12-hour drive for us to get to the closest blue or flathead water. So being able to fish a tournament trail is a little bit more difficult for us.
Hey, but you was talking about your first catfish being a 9-pound channel. That is nothing to shake your head at. That's a good channel cat.
It in a lot of places of the country that would be close to a record. Here in Montana, we get some real big ones. We were out 2 weeks ago, and I had an 18-pound, little over 18-pound channel cat for the weekend. We caught more 12-pound channel cats than we knew what to do with. We quit taking pictures of them. It just wasn't worth it anymore. We probably had 60 fish in 2 days, and they ranged from 10 to 18 pounds.
Dang right. Dang right. Ever since the Blues, Lake Wiley, my home lake, years ago, all it was channels. It borders North and South Carolina. Well, them 2 states, ever since the Civil War, can't get together and make up their mind on what they want to do for this lake. So it was never stocked with blues and flatheads. They're in there now. The fishermen took care of that and done it, and it's a good lake. But we had good channels back then. Now, we didn't have record channels, but, my biggest channel out of that lake was 16 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I look back, that was probably the early days of the blues. And that might have been a blue, and I just thought it was a channel because the blues was never seen in that lake. With that being said, I'm pretty sure it was a channel because I had caught some 10s and 12s and stuff like that. But since the big blues and the flatheads got in there, we just don't see that big of channels no more in them waters.
No, channel cats are such a good bait for those big blues and big flats, that in bodies of water where all 3 of them are present, the channel cats just don't get the chance to get as big. So we're kind of lucky with that here, I guess, that we do have that opportunity. Channel cats fight like nothing else. I've talked to a lot of people that a 20-pound channel cat fights as good as a 60-pound blue does. And now that I've had a chance to catch some bigger blues and flats, I have to say that's the case. You catch 60 channel cats going up to 18 pounds in 2 days, and your arms are tired. That was a good weekend.
Oh yeah, I'll take that any daggone day. That's one thing about a channel. He fights you all the way to the boat. He fights you in the boat, and he fights you trying to throw him back out of the boat.
Well, we were doing some real shallow water fishing. They're staged up. We were fishing on the lake, big lake here, Fort Peck, and they're staged up just before it's Mussel Shell. It's the Mussel Shell River, but it's more of a creek size. It's not real big. We're talking maybe 50 yards across. One of the tributaries that flows into Fort Peck right there, and the catfish run it when water comes up. So they were staged in the lake, right, waiting to go into the water. We haven't started winter runoff yet. It's still been pretty chilly here and pretty cold. So our waters aren't running high yet. And so we were fishing 1 to 2 feet of water. It was real shallow.
Man, I love it.
Anchored up in.
Can I interrupt you just a second?
Yep. Sorry.
Rick Jenkins is in the house tonight. I invited him to come into the show and to chat. Guys, check him out. Go over and visit him on his Facebook page. And I'm sure he probably, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but he does now to come on the show. So guys, go check him out and see what you can do to help out. And sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did want to give him a shout while he was in chat. And a lot of times that chat gets by me and I don't see who come in. So sorry.
Not a problem at all. So we were anchored up. We, fan casted out real shallow water, 1 to 2 feet of water. And it got to where the fish were hitting the bait so hard that you'd see a splash out at the end of your line before your pole ever started to dance. So we're sitting there watching, and we see a splash out in the water before we even have an indication that we've got a fish on the line. And so it was pretty fun. You'd see that fish splash, and then it's a race to see which pole it is and who gets to reel it in.
I love shallow water catfishing. People don't think, I guess the old wise tale, you got to go in deep water to catch them big fish. Guys, I was out in January, fish anchored in 4 foot of water, throwing baits up against a bank in 1 and 2 foot of water and catching 20s and 30s. Yeah. Love it. Just fun, the big splash. Somebody want to know what's your preferred way, anchor or dragging for cats? That was Justin Fishing Fetish.
We are real new to dragging. We don't have an opportunity for it much here. Most of the time we fish the river, and because our river's so rocky, it's just not worth dragging. All you're going to do is lose gear. So we anchor fish when we're at the river. Now that we've started hitting some of the lakes in our area, we have started dragging. We haven't had a whole lot of luck with it until just 2 weeks ago. We tried to run a drift through that shallow water, and when all 6 poles hit at the same time, we had a mess and we had to stop. We literally couldn't drag through there. It took us 45 minutes to get all the fish off the line and everything back in and back out again. So we opted to just anchor there. But late summer, we definitely do some drifting. It's new to us. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more active up here. It's known as, we've been doing it for years as trolling for walleye. And so we were real familiar with the technique. It's just a little bit different equipment. Not a lot of people up here do that at all. And so it's been kind of neat to introduce it to people at some of our tournaments and offer a suggestion. If the fish aren't feeding on the spots that you're anchoring and you're not able to find them, drifting is a real good way to cover a lot of water. And when we go down south and we fish some of those tournaments and we're pre-fishing, setting up for the event, we do a lot of drifting just to learn the area, do some down scanning at the same time, and kind of try and find where fish are.
Right. Yeah, Rick, we're glad you're okay and you made it to shore safe, my friend. That's I know that was a scary thing for you. And I know your family glad you made it home safe. Everything can be replaced. A life cannot. We thank God that you did make it safe, guy. That's why I'm glad you come in tonight. So everybody check him out. If you wasn't here on the first of the show, he hit a log out in the lake or the river and sunk his boat with all of his new equipment and everything on it. So if you have anything spare around, let's hook him up and see what we can do to help him out. At least, if nothing else, he can go hit the bank and put some baits out.
Have that catfish family spirit. We're a small, tight-knit community, and I like to think that we take care of our own.
Yes. And I know good and well, if the shoe was on the other foot, he'd be right there to help one of us out. So, guys, let's share the love, no doubt. And there's some new channels in here, guys. Hit them up. Check out their channels. Spread that love around. Bottom dollars in here. Gadget, Kentucky, Catman. We got a bunch of people. 30 people in chat. Let's get it on up, guys. Let's share it and hit the thumbs up. So I guess out there really, and as rocky as the waters are out in Montana, it really is kind of hard to drag baits and stuff like that because them rocks they don't give stuff back.
No. No, and our river will go from 6 feet. A real deep hole on the river is 10 to 15 feet, and we'll go. You'll have a 6 foot hole, and then it'll pop up to 3 inches, and you'll have that for a little bit. It's a real variegated river, I guess. So that's the necessity of us having to run jet boats. You got to be real familiar with the area. A lot of areas where you can't get in. Just gotta be on the lookout. Watch for sandbars. Watch for gravel bars. And if you're getting to a skinny spot, you gun it and hold on tight.
Yeah, I guess that's where the jet boats do come in handy. You don't need a prop down there in the water getting beat all to pieces. Yeah, that gets expensive.
And we've taken our jet boat down south too and fished some bigger water with it. It lets us get into some areas that some of those bigger boats can't get into. We can go a little bit more shallow. We aren't afraid to just looking at the chat there. Had Eddie Bottom Dollar Bottom Dollar Outdoors fished with Eddie last year.
Yeah. Said he had him white knuckled flying through the ice.
Yep. And he has me white knuckled going over some of those. I mean, when you're looking over the side of the boat and you can pick out individual rocks under the water, it's pretty shallow.
And that's the time that you can't let off of it, or you'd really hit something. You just gonna have to hammer down and go for it and wish for the best.
Oh yeah, and if we don't get the boat stuck at least once during a tournament, we feel like we're not trying hard enough. We really have good luck getting into those back areas. We really enjoy shallow water fishing, and so we take our boat into a lot of places. Eddie had a video up a couple of weeks ago about doing some shallow water fishing at Tongue River, and the area we're fishing at is actually it's under some trees, and there's a bunch of cormorants nested in the trees right there. Well, all the bark has come off the trees, and a bunch of the trees are down in that area. And we joke that we're actually putting the boat into 4-wheel drive to get in there, because we're going over logs and in between stuff and around in these areas, and that's pretty much what you got to do is kick it into 4-wheel drive and take it to some places. We don't have a shiny, sparkly boat. We're not afraid to get a few scratches on it to get into those areas where those catfish are. They like the brush.
Mono or braid?
Mono.
There you go.
And I can sit perfectly on the fence. I've fished with both. I really think the mono versus braid debate has a lot to do with the rod that you're using and the flexibility and the movement in the rod, because there are some rods that work a lot better with mono, and there's some that work a lot better with braid, and vice versa. We use B&M rods and we use mono. That's just how our preferred fishing techniques are.
Plus, in the rocky areas like that mono is a lot more forgiving, dragging around logs and the rocks and stuff. It really is.
Absolutely. I had someone ask earlier what my
favorite snack on the bait
are and what my bait is. Favorite snack on the boat? I don't know. I'm the sandwich maker. So we usually pack, we fish with the kid. We're out, we don't live real close to the water. It's usually about a 2 or 3 hour drive. And so a day of fishing's all day. We'll get up early in the morning and we'll go to the water and we'll fish all day. So we've got to have breakfast and lunch at boat for all day. So the sandwiches, my poor kid had the unfortunate luck. He fished a tournament last weekend with a new partner, and the partner showed up with not just one banana, but a whole bunch of bananas for breakfast in the morning. And I got a Snapchat from my kid, and he's just like, really? Like, does this guy not know any better?
And see, I don't pay the banana thing no attention. Some people do. They're very superstitious. I know the history of where it come from, but it don't really bother me. I don't plan on having a whole boatload of spiders on my boat. That's what it comes from. The banana spiders is what killed them all. Somebody else has something.
Bait. What's my favorite kind of bait? I always encourage people to, and it comes probably because we're such a fly fishing and trout state, match the hatch. The best type of bait you can use on the water is the bait fish that's in the water. So that said, here, I absolutely love a 6 to 10 inch sucker. We've got a whole lot of them in this area. Don't have a whole lot of big carp around here. They don't work real great. We do have some goldeye. We use those. We don't have any shad. No skipjack, no shad up here. So the number one catfish bait across most of the country, we don't have as an option, and we can't use bluegill. Bluegill are considered a game fish here in Montana, so we're not able to use them for bait at all. So I just like a 6 to 10 inch sucker, and we'll do them fresh dead or frozen dead, depending on the time of year. Cut into chunks. And
Catherine McTee wants to know when you're coming back to MS or Alabama, Missouri or Alabama. I'm sure that's what that is.
We will be at Mississippi River Monsters in Memphis. I think that's September. That's the closest I'll be to that area anytime soon. I was hoping to go to the chick fight tournament this year. Of course, that has been canceled, unfortunately. Rescheduled for next year. That'll be in Tennessee. And I'm trying to think of what else we have coming up. We don't get to that side of the country very often. It's difficult to get to Alabama. We went down to Alabama for chick fight in April of last year. It was a 30-hour drive for us. That was quite a long haul.
Man, that is a long haul. My old crippled tail done. You just have to roll me out in a wheelchair and set me on the side of the bank and daggum put a rod in my hand. Somebody want to know, do you ice fish for channel cats up there?
We have. That's really cool. You have to know where to go. There's a lot of ice fishing in our area. One thing we don't do, and it's a personal safety thing, we don't ever ice fish on our river. Just because of the flow, it's so easy to have a spot where you've got 12 inches of ice and a foot over, you've got 2 inches of ice, just with the way the water flows. And so for personal safety, we don't fish on the river. We have ice fished for catfish. A lot of fish in there on a couple of the lakes that are here, and it's pretty cool to pull up a cat through a little 8-inch hole in the ice. Mostly we do pike fishing, ice fishing up here. We can set tip ups out, and that's a whole lot of fun. We're not prejudiced. We fish for all sorts of different stuff.
Truthfully, I think that all catfishermen would benefit from doing that. Because catfish, if it swims, it's bait.
and so learning the habits of other fish and where they're at, what they're doing can help you get into the cats. If it's been a poor crappie bite or a poor bluegill season, that might affect the cats because that's one of their top foods.
Yes, and I've always been a strong supporter of and a push of people need to learn when certain fish spawn, because them big flatheads, and I mean any fish, any big predator fish, that's easy prey. When them fish is up there on them beds and their mind is concentrated on reproduction, they're easy prey. It don't matter what kind of fish they are. Their prey, a 10-pound flathead could eat a 2-pound channel or eat a 2-pound muskie or whatever. They don't care if there's teeth in its mouth; it's going to swallow it whole anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've caught some blues that had 3-4 pound bass in them.
Yes.
spit them back up in the live well on the way to weigh-ins, which is a bummer, but I've seen it happen.
Yes. What kind of reels y'all using?
We use kind of a combination. I've got a couple Abus that I am getting used to. We use a lot of line counters. Just with anchor fishing, it lets us, cast out. A lot of people use the line counters when they're drifting, setting out your planer boards. You want to get those baits out 150, 200 yards behind the boat, or when you're bumping on the river. But we use the line counters a lot when we're anchored as well, so that when we fan cast, we can set, one at 50, one at 35, one at 30, one at 25 out there and find out where the fish are. Or the other thing that they can be real beneficial for is you cast out, you miss a fish, and we all do it all the time. That fish is going to stay in that same area. If you know you were 65 yards off the back end of the boat, you've got that line counter on there, you can go put that bait back 65 yards out behind the back of the boat and hopefully get into it again. We've had real good luck in getting those fish that we miss, especially when they're short biting.
That's great information. Appreciate that. And somebody wants to know, what's the biggest pot you won in a tournament?
Oh gosh, I don't know. We don't win a lot.
You having fun? That's all that matters, ain't it?
Yeah. We haven't ever won any of the big ones. We fished Possum Kingdom a couple times. We fished Texoma. We fished MRM. Never won any of them. Came in 15th at Chick Fight last year. Probably couple $1,000 might be the biggest pot we've won at a tournament. I don't know. We fish because we like it. We really enjoy it. We go to tournaments to see people. We've made such wonderful friends across the country through catfishing. It's been just absolutely incredible, from meeting people at Catfish Conference and tournaments. That was how Chick Fight started. I'm here in Montana. Melinda Folsom is in Georgia. We happened to meet at Catfish Conference, got to talking back and forth, and thought it would be a good idea to put together a women's tournament, and we made it happen. We did it online and able to do it. And when that happened last year, we had 45 teams of women from 18 different states that showed up for that. And it just really goes to show how you can have a community all across the country. I know everybody's got their own catfish trails and areas that they fish in, but there's really a bigger community nationwide of fishermen out there.
Yes. Well, congratulations on that. And if you want to talk a little bit more about, how we got quite a few ladies in here tonight. You want to talk a little bit about who they need to contact or whatever to maybe be able to join that for next year?
Absolutely. Chick Fight unfortunately had to be canceled this year because of the COVID-19 restrictions. It's scheduled to take place in Tennessee, Watts Bar Lake, and I forgot where I was going with this. We do have a lot of women. We've got a catfishing women's group, a Facebook page where a lot of us get together and talk about stuff. So we all kind of knew that the possibility of it was coming. A lot of our ladies are first responders. A lot of our ladies are frontline workers. We've got a whole lot of nurses and ladies out there. We were worried about the travel restrictions rather than, I guess what the main concern was these women wanted to come fish, but then they would have to miss work for 2 weeks when they got back, the self-quarantining afterwards for the travel. And so able to protect everybody and allow the best overall benefit, Melinda did opt to cancel the tournament for this year, rescheduled for next year. It'll be April 21st, I believe. Don't kill me, Melinda, if that's wrong.
It's going to be probably the same weekend mine is.
Oh, shoot.
But I mean, mine's not wrote in stone yet because of the landing I put out, there's going to be a lot of bass tournaments and a lot of crappie tournaments at that time of year. So it might be a little before, or it might be hopefully not after, because Lake Wiley gets so freaking busy. It's right beside Charlotte, North Carolina. So
yeah. So once the tourist season starts, it gets crazy.
But yeah, I'm glad that y'all did start that up and pursue it, because there are a lot of women out there that love to fish and maybe was kind of scared to take that next step to doing something like that. And now there's an opportunity for them to do it, to join other ladies, to get and make friends. Like you said, it's a perfect opportunity to make friends from all across this country. And what a better way to do it is be on a boat, or just the camaraderie is something else. Well, Catherine said April the 24th.
24th. Okay. If you think about the history of catfishing and how catfishing has always been a family affair. It was grandma and grandpa on bank and catching catfish. At least my vision of it, or the history of it, and women have always been fishing, and out there and catfishing. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that said they got into fishing because their grandma took them. Grandma'd go down to the creek and she'd catch dinner, and that's how they got into fishing. And so we knew that us ladies were out there fishing. There's a lot of us that are out there fishing, and the tournament industry does tend to be a little bit male dominated, and that's not just in catfishing, that's across the board. Bass fishing, there's a lot more men that are competitive fishermen than there are women, and we really wanted to give this opportunity for women to compete against each other in an environment that was welcoming. The captain's meeting was one of the most incredible things I've ever done. Just the spirit, knowing that all these ladies were there together to do the same thing and support each other. It was really kind of cool. So us ladies are out there. We had a husband-wife team that won MRM. That was Lisa Haraway and her husband won Mississippi River Monsters last year. And then Diane Stone had Big Fish at Mississippi River Monsters. And Chris and Kylie Baldwin won PK last year, came in second place this year. No, one PK 2 years in a row, came in second place at Texoma. They've been doing some real big things. So it's been wonderful to see the ladies, really get out there and show what we're made of and what we can do. We have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. When we get off here, shoot me some names on a messenger if you don't mind. And tell some of these ladies I'd love to have them on the show too.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really want to help promote this, and especially next year when it gets closer to chick fight time. Let me know, and we don't mind helping promote. It's a good thing. I think y'all do a lot. But I've noticed one thing: a lot of the lady fishermen are nurses, or paramedics, or in the medical field. And I do want to give a thumbs up and a pat on the back to each and every one of you. My wife retired from 33 years as a medic. She still instructs and the clinical coordinator for Cleveland Community College. For right now, I think she's ready to give that up after 30 years of dealing with people. People get kind of, the younger crowd is just not as pleasing to teach as they used to be. I'll just say it like that and keep it nice. But yeah, we do appreciate it. And in fact, Wampus Cat, he's out on the boat. He's a paramedic too. The wife taught him all he knows about, well, not all he knows. His daddy was a medic too. So, but yeah, we do appreciate it. And yeah, keep up the good work, promoting ladies getting out there on the water. And just because your husbands do it, that means you need to get on the boat and show them how to do it. And if you don't know, learn. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, catfishing can be tough if you let it. Muddy River Catfishing. What's up, Chris Flores? Thank you for coming in the house tonight, buddy.
Hi, Chris.
Good guy. Real good guy.
He's a very good guy. We're doing a tournament together with him. Believe it's been rescheduled for October of this year down at Elephant Butte, New Mexico.
Oh,
So
that's a long drive for you too, ain't it?
Yeah, it's all a long drive for us.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. That's a long drive just going across your state.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we got quite a few women in here, and that's good. And I'll do, like I said, I do want to keep promoting and getting more on here, more on the show. Yeah, just let them know, and that that this channel does promote all. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that y'all invited the kids also.
Well, of course, one of the things that we really try and promote with our tournaments and with our travel is the idea of family fishing. We fish pretty much 100% of the time with our youngest son. He's 14. He's been out on the boat catching fish since he was a baby, 2 years old. And we really like to see the families out there, see the kids get involved in stuff, just because that next generation needs to have these skills. And it's awesome to see a kid get into a big fish for the first time.
Yes. I took my daughter and my grandsons out the other day for the first time on the boat and marked a lot of good fish. Couldn't get them to bite. Couldn't get them to bite. And my daughter was like your son. I drug her up every lake and river bank all around this area. We fished when we just fished. Me and her fished, and she wanted to go skating. I skated. You know, I wanted to fish. She fished. And a lot of times, one thing I learned, you carry Matchbox cars, and a perfect bed for them is a little blow-up raft.
Mm-hmm.
You blow that little raft up, they'll crawl right up in that rascal and sleep like a rock. But you got to keep them. Don't let them get bored, especially when they're real, real young. Best thing to do is take them brim fishing or white perch fishing, something that's going to bite.
Yep. And usually when you're fishing for that too, you can, I mean, half a piece of worm and they're catching a fish every single time they drop it down. And it does get them real interested real quick.
Right. Do y'all have the white perch in y'all's water?
Nope.
See, if y'all had white perch out here, you could take them sabiki rigs and they start catching them 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, them kids are ruined. You couldn't wipe the smile off their face.
We've got a couple bluegill lakes that are like that, where it's real fast and furious. And then when the bass fishing's on the river, you can go out and have 100 fish day, and that's a lot of fun too, to catch those smallies on the river.
Yeah, as long as they're catching and enjoying, and then when you see them get bored, you got to have something else for them. But I'm glad that y'all do encourage the family time. That's I think sometimes it's not that men are being mean to their wives or their children or whatever. Sometimes it's in our DNA that we just need man time. The buddies get together, go out on the lake. Some people, they might drink a beer, whatever. I don't drink, but you know, it's just, we get out, we hunt. It's something that's in our DNA. But at the same time, it's best if they also, once in a while, take the family, get them involved in what you're doing, show them that you ain't going to the bars, that you're out here actually enjoying nature, and get them involved in it. And so by y'all doing that, I promote you. I give you a thumbs up every time.
Well, thank you. I looking through the comments here, a couple people commenting on my kid. Thank you. Saying he's very polite and great kid. He's youngest of 4, and we travel with him and he fishes with us. And I got to say, he's a pretty great kid. So thank you to everybody kind of giving him the shout out. He's pretty well known in the catfish community. He was at Catfish Conference with me. Him and I made the drive to Kentucky. It was my first cross country trip by myself. And at 14, he doesn't drive yet. So I got to drive all 36 hours by myself. But we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun down there in February.
Yeah, it was nice meeting him up there. When I met you, he was Y'all was back there. I didn't mean to interrupt you at the time when y'all was at the table. It looked like y'all was in some pretty deep conversation, you and him. But
that might have been Saturday morning. He had a little bit of attitude Saturday morning. I had to check him.
had to really mean, huh?
He's bigger than me. He probably shot up 6 inches in the last year, and the kid's taller than I am. Not that that's hard. David Funk is real big on reminding me how short I am. But he needs to remember that Mama can still whoop him if she needs to. So
you cut him off at the knees.
I brought him into this world.
Nah, it seemed like he was a big help to you up there. 36 hours sitting in a seat. That's hard on a kid too. It's hard on both of you. Y'all had quite a few stops coming out here though, out there too, CatCon, didn't you?
Well, we drove straight through to CatCon. Didn't have any road trouble that time. You're probably thinking our Texoma trip. We ran into a little bit of trouble on the Texoma trip, and then on the way home from Catfish Conference, him and I stopped at just about every roadside attraction we could. We had fun with it. There's not a lot of opportunity to see all that little stuff. We went to Wall Drug in South Dakota and the Corn Palace, and if you have a chance to drive across the country, stop and see these things. It's fun.
Somebody, did you have your pink hair at CatCon? She said she thinks she remembers seeing you.
I did. That's kind of my thing. I just about the only woman out there that catfishes with pink hair. That's actually my new brand, Pink Catfishing, too. So yeah, I had. Well, and I got my hoodie on. See if I can.
There you go.
Can show that.
There you go.
Pink Catfishing. It started out, I had pink rods, I had pink reels, I had pink shoes, we had a pink cooler. It was time to change my hair, and I decided to go pink with it. So I'm not pink at the moment, but I probably will be by the end of the week. So
ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to brand yourself, don't you?
Yeah, it's my thing. It works. It makes me visible on the water. I've been told it's like a beacon. They can always tell I got to put my hood up and hide if I want to be incognito. Otherwise, people can see me across the water by my bright pink hair.
I'm going to ask y'all to do one thing, if you don't already, and that's to fly Old Glory on your boat. I try to encourage all fishermen to fly the American flag on their boat. The reason I do this is that there's a lot of bridges that crosses waters. And if you're a veteran, say from Vietnam, World War II, Korea, you're feeling kind of down and you come across the water and you see 1, 2, 10, 100 boats and all of them flying Old Glory, it'll make you feel like that wasn't in vain.
Mm-hmm.
What you done wasn't in vain. So I do try to encourage it. So if you don't have one on there, make sure you hit your husband and say, look, we got to fly one. Patriot James said we had to fly one. Flag sticker. Oh, somebody said they got a sticker for their boat and flag. I hope you do, guys. Fly it up right. But yeah, I made some pink bobbers, and I will be sending you a set of the pink bobbers to fly to try out. I don't know if y'all float fish for catfish out there or not.
We have, yeah, absolutely.
For some reason, everybody's been hitting me up saying that they've been wanting to try it. They've never tried it before for some reason. So we're gonna put them out there, guys, in shallow water or in deep water. With these being able to slide them down your line, you can fish them 30 foot deep if you wanted to. All you got to do is put a bobber stop on there. Now, what's your biggest fish you caught as far as catfish?
My PBs, I have my channel cat is a little over 20 pounds. Caught up on the Red River at the north in Drayton, North Dakota. My PB flathead is 28 pounds. That was caught on the Colorado River on the California-Arizona border. And then my PB blue was 40. Eddie's yelling in the other room, 49 pounds. And that was caught pre-fishing for chick fight on Wheeler Lake in Alabama last year.
And that 49 didn't show up the day of the tournament, though, did
Not at all. we weighed in channel cats at that tournament. So that's one thing.
A lot of guys that Josh, that son of a gun pre-fishing, he'll put some monsters in the daggum boat and just can't seem to find them during the day of the tournament. Good guy, put some hogs in the boat. Now he's guiding a lot. Oh, was it Josh Brown? No. Is it Josh Brown? He's down in Alabama. Him and his, oh my God, I just had a brain fart. I can't think of his name. But I've noticed that a lot of people, it seems like pre-fishing, they'll put some hogs in the boat. Then it comes to tournament day, and they can't find them.
Yep.
That would be my luck.
It happens. They move. That's one thing that we always try and remember is that fish move. It's kind of more important to set up a pattern, establish a plan of attack, and don't just count on the one spot that you were looking at. I was looking through, I keep getting questions asked. I had J hooks or circles, and then Palmetto Cats wants to know about my boat too. We use a lot of dual action hooks, mostly circles, but we're really liking the dual action right now. Eddie's a little bit more aggressive with his fishing. I'm a little bit more laid back with my fishing. The dual action lets us use the same hook on all our rods, and then no matter who picks it up, we can fish with the method we're more comfortable with. So
let it load or set the hook.
Exactly. What, if pressure's on and it's a tournament and Eddie wants to set that hook, those dual actions let him do that. And if I'm not paying attention, which happens a lot, then my rod can load up and do what it needs to. Yep. Cold fronts move them. Warm fronts move them. The issue we had there were some monsters caught. Wheeler's known for their baby whales. It's one of the premier blue cat fisheries in the nation, and kind of a goal for a lot of people. We had a perfect storm of bad events. There were some monster fish caught last week just leading up to chick fight. And then the day before the tournament, they shut all the current off. They closed both ends of the lake, and there was nothing running through it all, and it just shut them down and scattered them. Yep. And you talked to all 45 teams of women, everybody that was on them pre-fishing, you could not find them for the life of you. We actually had, I think we had about half the team zero during that tournament, just because it was tough fishing, like really, really tough fishing.
And the ones that probably got on the fish probably didn't get to pre-fish the lake.
It's possible. It's very possible.
They didn't have that. They didn't have that mindset. I was only doing this. They come on and said, "All right, what are we going to do today?"
Yep.
So you didn't have no, and it was Josh Brown and Trevor Nitterdoff, however you say his name. The ones I was talking about that do the catch the big fish pre-fishing.
Okay.
Somebody want to know a little bit about your boat, what y'all fishing out of?
We have two boats. We've got a river boat and a lake boat, or a jet boat and a prop. Right. Our prop is a 1998 18-foot Crestliner. It works for us. It's been redone. Got a new engine on it, so that's nice. And then our jet boat, can't remember the name of it. It's not a well-known. It's and now I'm drawing a blank. My husband's yelling in the background. Custom, a closed bow on it, and a windshield modified V on it, so it can take some bigger waters, cuts through the waves real nice.
Right.
And then we've got a newer engine on that one as well. So it scoots.
That's what you need. I mean, I know a lot of people said, oh, you got to have one of these CRs. You got to have this. You got to have that. Guys, no, you got to have a fishing rod and reel with a line and a hook and just go out there and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't chase the Joneses.
We do a lot of bank fishing. We do a lot of hike in, hike out fishing. There's no wrong way to do it. Somebody's saying 2 boats. Not a lot of people have 2 boats. Neither one of our boats is new. We work on them ourselves. We've redone them ourselves. We paint them. We strip them down. We've recarpeted them. We've refloored them. We've done all of that work ourselves. It's a matter of needing the equipment to fish the areas that we want to fish. The jet boat isn't great for the real big tournaments. It can't handle too big a water. And we knew if we wanted to be able to travel the U.S. and fish some of these bigger tournaments, we had to have a little bit bigger boat. So that's why we got the lake boat. And then we want to be able to run our river here. We simply cannot run a prop on the river. And so we had to have the jet boat too.
Got to have the proper tools of the trade.
Well, Eddie's a guide. Eddie's a guide as well. And so he has to have the tools of the trade, and that goes along with it.
Yes. Well, yeah, if you want people to come fish with you, got to have a way to get them to the waters where the fish are biting. And it sounds like y'all have to run through some pretty skinny water just to get to some deeper water to catch some fish. And if you ain't putting fish on the boat, they won't be back next year to come fish with you again. So You're right. Proper tools of the trade. What's your son's PBs?
He just broke his, I think he's sitting right at 15 pounds for his blue, 15 pounds for his flathead, but he just broke his channel and he's got a 17-pound channel cat PB now.
Oh, man. Y'all killing me. I'll look at some channel cats. Pound for pound, that's the hardest fighting catfish they are. I don't care what anybody says. I love flatheads, I do, but
they're a lot of fun. The tournaments that we do with them can be absolutely phenomenal when you've got just a few ounces between weights. You see some of these big tournaments and your first place team has beat your second place team by 40 or 50 pounds because the fish are so phenomenally bigger. That's one thing. But when we had a couple tournaments last year where it's a 5-fish limit, and we had 5 teams bring in more than 50 pounds on 5 channel cats.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that gets exciting. That's a couple ounces difference between first and 5th place. But when everybody's bringing in a basket a 10+ pound fish, it gets to be real exciting and a whole lot of fun. We had a virtual tournament last weekend. The first place team weighed in. So with the virtual format, we allowed our teams to weigh in all of the fish that they caught for the day. And so 8-hour tournament, you count every single fish that you caught. And the first place team, they weighed in 58 fish for just under 300 pounds in an 8-hour tournament. We did the math on it, and they averaged 1 5-pound fish every 7 minutes for 8 hours straight.
Dang, right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good day of fishing. I don't care who you are, where you are. That's a good day of fishing.
I'll take it any day. Any day, I would take that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. Now, Jeff Manning, he was in here for a little bit. He probably had to get back out. That rascal's busy. He holds a tournament, and he just got back into doing it last year. It's called the Grand Slam, which is a fun tournament. He usually holds it at night, but you have to catch a blue, you have to catch a channel, and you have to catch a flathead to win the Grand Slam. And that's just a fun tournament. You can have a huge blue and a big flathead, but if you ain't got that channel, you don't get the Grand Slam. And we've seen some big fish come in but they could not get that channel cat. I said, boys, you run off and left your chicken livers at home, didn't you? But now down here, the channels love brim. And I know y'all can't use them up there because they're classified as a sport fish. And they are down here too. You got to catch them on hook, line, and sinker, or hook and line. But we can still use them in North Carolina, and they can use them in South Carolina. But in South Carolina, you cannot use like crappie bass and stuff like that, where we can in North Carolina. We can use just about any sport fish. You just have to count it as part of your creel, and legal sizes and all that. And one of my favorite baits, and I'm sure the bass guys don't like to hear me say it, but that's largemouth bass. That's big baits. I mean, I don't use any trophy fish that gets back in the water, you know. I got a little private pond that I stock myself, and when it comes to that fish, that's where I get it. That's fish that I put in there. I grew that, you know, if I want to use it as bait, I spent money doing it. I'm going to use it as bait as long as it's legal.
Yeah.
So what on your channels, do y'all ever use live bait to catch your channels?
Yes. Summertime minnows work real good. We've got several different shiner varieties here, some creek chubs. We owned a bait shop for a number of years and have dealt with live bait for a long time. Personally, keeping bait alive on a boat is kind of a pain in the butt. So we don't tend to use it very often. They can work, you know, live bait can work absolutely phenomenal. Live bluegill does work real good. We've had real good luck catching channel cats in areas where you can use live bluegill.
Right.
And of course, live is generally the preferred for flathead fishing as well. But yeah, live works great for channel cats. Don't be afraid of size. Any catfish out there eats a lot bigger bait than you think it's going to.
That's what I've always said. I don't think the fishermen actually realize I don't think we can throw too big of baits. I got a buddy boy. He'll throw some shad. Man.
5 ounces of weight and a 3-pound shad.
There you go. And he ain't scared to throw it, I thought. But then you think, you know, just a 10-pound flathead would swallow that. Like it ain't nothing.
Yep.
You know, so I agree. Somebody had another question up here. Oh, Palmetto. No. Palmetto, you need to take on that task of doing the summertime tournament. One tournament a year is enough for me, and I missed this year, so I'm gonna leave that up to you, my friend. I'm gonna leave that up to you. I got too much homework this year I done got started to jump on that one. What time is it? A little after 9. Anything else you might want to cover? Talk about?
I don't know. I've been talking a lot.
Well, and that's good. You get out a lot of good information about some of the waters in case anybody wants to come out to Montana. What do they need to look for? Who do they need to look up and maybe go fishing with y'all?
Anybody wants to come to Montana, absolutely hit us up. We'll meet up with you. We'll take you out on the water, show you where to catch fish. One thing to remember about Montana, it's known nationwide as a good trout fishery. That's all in the western part. Over here on the eastern side of the state, we're a warm water fishery. We've got just about everything you can think of. Smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, pike, muskie, catfish, paddlefish, just a whole lot of different opportunities. We got sturgeon here. Trying to think of what else. Pike fishing.
You got both type sturgeon?
Yes. Shovel nose and
white sturgeon and something else. I don't know.
Eddie's yelling at me again from the other room.
Oh yeah, and I heard somebody saying great mule deer hunts too.
It is good. It is good hunting. Unfortunately, Montana tends to charge out-of-state hunters accordingly. So it's pretty expensive to get a hunting permit to come out here, but we've got some phenomenal hunting opportunities out here as well. No speed limits. That used to be the case. The legal speed limit in Montana for a while in the 90s was reasonable and prudent, and it did say that on the signs on the side of the highway. If you talk to a highway patrolman, that was generally considered between about 90 and 95, just depending on the highway conditions and the state of your car. Right now, most of our highways are, I think, either 80 or 85 for interstate travel.
There you go.
It takes a long time to get across Montana.
Yeah, big sky. That's what they say. You look like you're driving forever on.
The northwest corner of Texas is closer to Montana than one end of Montana to the other is.
Dang right. Never thought of it that way, but that's a long way.
Yep, it is closer to get to Texas than it is to go all the way across Montana.
You prefer summer, winter, or all year fishing?
All year fishing. We don't like the winters here in Montana. We've had snow for 9 months straight. It started snowing in September, and we had snow just yesterday. Didn't stick, but came out of the sky white. And so obviously we prefer to fish here in the summertime, but we do a lot of our traveling and go down south or out west in the wintertime to get away from the snow and to keep fishing.
Any last thing you want to say to the ladies in here about catfishing or fishing?
We've got a Facebook page just for lady fishermen. That's Whisker Chicks. If you're not part of that, find us there. And then the Chick Fight page is on Facebook. We've also got a website that's open to anybody. A lot of good information about the tournament, a lot of good pictures from last year. Melinda does a real good job running that and promoting it. The website is chick-fight.com. Really awesome. We had a lot of volunteers. If anybody's in the area in Tennessee next year, wants to volunteer, be part of a really great event, we can use all the help we can get. Guys, get your women signed up for it. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of prizes, gave away a lot of money. A lot of fun, real good experience. I think it's important for everybody to get out and fish. Everywhere. Challenge yourself. Go fish a new water, find a new area. We travel all over the country learning and trying to grow and develop our fishing ability. We could fish at home probably every weekend, but we choose to save up and make these big trips and go fish these other waters and meet everybody. But more than that, challenge ourselves as fishermen. We know how to fish our river here at home, but do we know how to fish Lake Texoma? Do we know how to fish Santee Cooper? Do we know how to fish the James River? Not yet, but we want to learn. And so I guess that's my challenge to people is challenge yourself. Go fish a new water, try a new technique, do something different, and have fun with it.
That's it in a nutshell right there. Have fun with it. Take your family, take your kids, get out on the water. The good Lord's blessed each and every one of us, guys and gals. Take advantage of it. We only got so many sunrises and so many sunsets in us, so take advantage of everything He's blessed us with. That being said, Ann, thank you for joining us tonight. And
thank you for having me, James.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. When I shut the show down, I want to talk to you a few minutes after that. But everybody, we appreciate you coming in. Check out the sites that Ann listed up here. Ladies, get involved. Don't let your husband run off. It's time to jump on the boat with him and enjoy it. That being said, God bless, and we'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.